1 second. Yeah, so funny enough, like when I heard it, like I heard the sample on, I think it was Colbert, the Colbert show. It was one of the night shows
Yeah.
when he was on, and he played the sample of it. I was like, oh, sounds really good. And I heard when it was released, and I guess I didn't like Soile's part, the first guy. I was like, oh, but it's grown on me a lot. Do you like classic 90s like grunge music or like anything like that?
I don't know. You'd have to give me some
like grunge, like that kind of. What I'm getting at is
Nirvana.
Yeah. Post Malone has got a thing where he'll be at bars and he'll be just like doing covers or singing like classic grunge songs. Like this isn't grunge, but one of the ones that he did was Santeria. And it's like it's one of those. It's one of he's got like legit talent.
Get the ball. I had $1 million. I spent it all. Yeah. Oh, see, now that I've sat up, I've kind of like moved it a little bit. So now I gotta go up just a little. Oops. Okay, how's that? See, now that's almost too high up.
What is that in the background? Is that supposed to be? Was that supposed to be a green screen?
No, that's just a tent for my daughter.
Oh, okay. I don't like this. I don't like this.
I don't like it already. You'll be able to look at me, Nate.
I don't like this one fucking bit. Eject. My desk when I did that.
Okay. You want to get started?
Yeah. Everyone that shows you how much of a slob I am. Well, actually, no, we weren't recording when I had this, but I had Popeyes a couple weeks ago, and I've had the sauces still sitting on my desk for 2 weeks now. Normally they go in a junk drawer, but I've just been too lazy to put them in there. You can, as far as lighting goes, you don't have to get these like I have because I spent like.
I technically already have lighting.
I was gonna say like there are like
I spent probably $100. I have because it was supposed to be for like a green screen setup. So I actually have I have 2 foreground and then the back, whatever that one's called, the one that's supposed to go in the back. I have like 3 because I bought it all together. Mm-hmm. I bought that, and then it came with a green screen thing.
Because you could get like a ring light for $35 on Amazon.
Oh, gotcha. I do have a desk lamp. Well, not like a desk lamp, but something I can clip onto my desk, and maybe I'll just try doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got like 2 weeks. We don't have to worry about it necessarily yet. Have you had a chance to look at the look back or whatever? Here, let me put in Discord, or actually I guess Hangouts, just in case. So seriously, like one of the best parts of the movie is that song. Really, it's at the very beginning, and like Miles Morales is like trying to sing it, but he doesn't know the song, so he's doing that thing. He's like, and it's just like so relatable. It's like so hashtag relatable.
You didn't buy Spider-Man, did you? PS4?
PS4, no, but it's like I definitely want to now, for sure.
Yeah,
Okay, so I guess I put it in the group chat. I don't know.
I think you did.
The group chat.
There it is. I got it. I was gonna say, I'm tempted. I'm really interested in the DLC, but I just don't want to spend $20 on it right now. I don't like this one fucking bit. I don't like that one bit. Okay.
Why not, Nate? Why don't you like it?
It's fucking terrifying. I'm regretting this decision. I didn't even make it.
I'm regretting decisions you've made. Like, wasn't that what true friends are for?
So I'm highlighting the most important part here and bolding it. Oh, I can't fucking edit. God damn it.
Oh shit, is it seriously already 7:30? God damn. So I'm doing a sleep study. So I was like, I want to be in the bed by 8 so that I have like an hour to cool down. So I'm in bed by 9. So I have the full 8 hours or whatever. So I mean,
I don't imagine that this will be as long as like some of the past couple things we recorded.
True. It's just that it's already almost 7:30. So technically, I have 30 minutes to go get in bed, and it's just like I'm not doing that because I don't like even if it literally did take us. Yeah, even if it literally did take us like 30 minutes, it's just I don't want that stress on myself. I'd rather just see where it goes and go from there. So I don't have anything bolded.
I can't edit. I was making a joke. I was gonna bold meeting Nate as the most important part, but I couldn't. I can't edit.
Oh, that's weird. I sent. Dang it! I sent a thing like probably a week or so ago. So I don't know why all of a sudden it's not letting you.
Well, maybe because I'm signed in on Deadly Operative. That's what I'm signed in.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right, so there. Now I just did it so that you could edit. So click on that second one.
Important part. There you go.
There you go. So I think just for the first part, so that, like I said, we can keep it chronological. It's obviously going to be a lot of me talking, but whenever it feels natural, maybe like ask questions because make it feel somewhat like interview, like how did this start? Or I mean, I don't want it to be too cheesy, obviously.
I get what you're saying.
All right, so let's go ahead and at least get started recording, and then we'll loosey-goosey go from there. Do you think this is going to be a problem? Just maybe like, all right, guys, hi, how's it going? I can sit back like this, for instance, and that still sounds good, right?
Yeah, sitting back. Yeah, I mean that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're just being an asshole.
All right, recording. 1, 2, 3. All right, ready? Okay, recording. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So now I feel weird because now I'm so conscious about like being seen. Like if I put it closer to me, it's technically like lower on the image threshold or whatever you want to call it.
It'll be an adjustment process, just figuring out what's the most comfortable. And I mean, if you remember the kind of funny guys, whenever they started the Game Over Greggy show, there were several iterations of at one point they had pin mics that sounded terrible because they didn't want the mics in their face, and then they put the mics in their face. So it'll be a process.
Yes, it will. Nate.
So by the way, I see what you mean about Uncharted being very long.
Yes.
But I feel like the last 5 chapters, just from the pacing that I've played, I'm on 20 right now. I just got to the part where the ships, like it's the ship graveyard, and we're fighting. Like Sam just ran out the door. Like me and Elena had just got done climbing through the caves.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I feel like those last 5 chapters are going to run really fast together because the pacing so far has been the past 2 were really quick. Like
I think it also has a lot to do with just perception, as far as like how fast you play through them, or just like if you play through them over a couple of days, or if you just play through them in one session or something.
Because I've been trying to like at least do 2 or 3 chapters a sitting, but this morning like I kept playing because I was like, "Ooh, I'm enthralled."
Ew, what an interesting story.
Also, the Uncharted games on PS3 at Game Exchange are like 95 cents.
Oh yeah. Who would play on the PlayStation 3?
My dad. I left my dad my PlayStation 3 so he could play his Rocksmith game, and so I bought him
Rocksmith game.
Sean Connery.
Yes. Rocksmith. All right. Let's get started.
There's like shit on my floor right now. It's bugging me, but I don't really care.
Okay.
Like this. That's better.
See, that's another thing. I feel like I'm more conscious about my back. Can you hear me the same if I'm back here?
I can.
Should I go like this? Yeah. Do I need to be like this?
You don't need to be like. We don't need to be hearing our microphones because then it's just ASMR for everyone else. This is fucking terrifying. I don't like this at all. This is why you should really watch the YouTube people, because we're just eating our microphones right now.
No, I'm not. Well, I mean, the audio people aren't getting this part. This is just
right, but the visual of us are all going like this. Everybody's coming to the party, have a real good time.
Dancing in the desert, blowing up your sunshine.
Lady voices, we don't really wish about revolution.
All right, let's get. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Nerd to the Third episode. I give up.
I think this is like 25, maybe
25.
21.
I mean, we talked about this last time on our Christmas special, which was technically like 3 recordings ago.
What? Everybody stay tuned for the Christmas special. By now you've already heard the Christmas special.
No, you've already heard the
welcome.
Christmas
You're
special
welcome.
because this is afterwards. Get your shit straight.
Sorry, folks. We're trying to recuperate. It's not working.
Anyway, so yeah, we've recorded all this previously, and so yeah, everything's a little out of order and out of shape, like me. And if you're on YouTube, you can just see how out of shape I am. Hi. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about, Threat X3 and a look back of 2018. So I thought maybe just for the fun of it, let's talk about some like world stuff and just like entertainment stuff. Like, okay, for instance, this is why I want to talk about it. For instance, Logan Paul in the Suicide Forest was this year.
Yeah,
it doesn't that seem weird? I feel like that was like so long ago.
Yeah, this whole year, YouTube wise especially, has been very interesting for me personally. Like, I was thinking about this morning because like I've been playing Uncharted 4 for the first time as of like 2 weeks ago, and I'm sitting here playing it and I'm like, man, this may be one of my favorite games I've played this year. And I'm sitting here thinking, is that fair to say that about a game that came out in 2016 when we had both God of War and Spider-Man?
Right.
And so like I'm all discombobulated right now, but YouTube wise especially, yeah. I mean, and then you combat, which was very recently, the whole Shane Dawson documentary. It's just kind of so interesting as far as YouTube goes, the bookends. Like it's Suicide Forest. Right. Now you have this like docu-series that just fantastic.
Yeah.
And now Logan Paul has his own podcast that has super high production value. So there you go.
What? He does?
Yeah, it's actually, I really, really like marketing guys. If it's just him or someone who he hired is on point. It's called Impulsive, like Logan Paul.
Oh,
and it's like a high production like set that they're sitting at. And it actually looks kind of funny, but I listened to too many podcasts already.
Yeah, like I wonder what they talk about. Like,
but that's like their shenanigans. But that's another thing. At the beginning of the year, you had the Suicide Force where Logan Paul was at his lowest, and now he's doing nothing but growing again. It's like,
yeah, which almost kind of makes me pissed.
Also, subscribe to PewDiePie, everybody. Watch the memes.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that happened this year that like I am just like I'm going back through it in my mind, and it's just like, oh yeah, that was this year, and it's just like, I don't know, it's so weird. It's now I'm touching myself. Just I could do this before, and I could keep a straight face and just keep going on and see. Like audio listeners have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so
you can't hear the difference.
Well, so everyone, if you have like you're new here, be thankful because normally he records without a shirt on, and so he's now has to wear a shirt because he has a camera now.
Milk.
Oh God, I have eggnog, but I don't need any more milk to it. Exactly. Eggnog with cinnamon, delicious.
All right, so then not only that, but looking back, like this is gonna get super cheesy. We're going into cheese territory here, but like even like
Wisconsin,
even like meeting you, for instance, feels like it was so long ago because we had one of those like kind of instant connections. Like stop it. We had like one of those instant connections, and just like it feels like we were lifelong friends when it's like, oh no, I've only known you since May. No,
you've known me since I think the start of the year. Like you
June.
messaged me. No, it was earlier than June because like I want to say it was like either February or March.
True.
Because June was when I moved.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because like we did do E3 under the guise of N3, didn't we?
Yeah. So well, let's see. When did Far Cry 5 come out?
February.
So yeah, I think we started in like maybe November or December 2017.
Really?
If not, it was January. I mean, that was the time frame between it was either November or somewhere near January.
God dang. See, now I'm all discombobulated because I could have swore that we were still going under Rocky Mountain Slacker for at least like first month or something.
But like we were, whenever me and you first got together, we were doing Rocky Mountain Slackers.
True. All right, so let's take a look back. In the year 2018.
I've actually been to the year 3000. Not much has changed, but we live underwater.
Yay, global warming.
Great granddaughter is doing fine. I just want to let you know that.
Yeah. Jason Momoa isn't looking so stupid now, is he?
Don't get me started on Jason Momoa.
So anyway, so what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to look back at the year and because we're already having problems with it, obviously, but we're going to try to keep it as chronological as possible. Mm-hmm. So let's first talk about the rise of Rocky Mountain Slackers. So, funnily enough, we weren't always called Nerd to the Third. We were actually called Rocky Mountain Slackers. And the reason behind that was basically we were trying to be a little bit more of a localized podcast. And so we wanted to try to cater to like the Northwest. And that was going to be our flavor, quote unquote, is we were the Northwest guys. Even though there's literally a Northwest Nerds podcast and they're pretty cool guys. I've actually met them and had them on the Rocky Mountain Slackers, funny enough. But eventually, like I want to say after 2 or 3 episodes, we basically gave up on that. It's like, okay, how about instead of trying to cater to only Northwesterners, we cater to everybody, but we still give that Northwestern, twang, or I don't know what to call it. So it was very quickly turned into more of we're just going for everybody, but we do happen to be from Idaho and the Northwest area. So Rocky Mountain Slackers had a very difficult start in the beginning of 2018. We had a very similar format as far as the way we do stuff, but that's when I was doing it back with my buddy Kevin. And so me and him did Rocky Mountain Slackers, but we also did a show called Once in a Fortnight. And this is something that I've always kind of alluded at when we're talking about Fortnite is, oh yeah, I had a podcast. And it was definitely a very weird situation because we started Fortnite because of our love of Fortnite, the actual game, not what it's become now. That's not a joke.
Fired.
That's not trying to shoot fire, whatever. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to say that, like, that's what we started the podcast. We started it because we really liked the, you know, grinding, and we really liked just the overall, you know, Borderlands meets Minecraft meets, you know, whatever. And that's what we were excited about, so much so that we thought, you know, hey, let's do a podcast. We called it Once in a Fortnight because Fortnite is 14 days. So we did the podcast every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Funnily enough, I want to say episode 2, which this is technically in 2017, so I'm just trying to give a good backstory for everybody. 2017 episode 2 is when we started talking about Battle Royale, and episode 3, so 2 weeks after that, is when we actually finally had a chance to play it. And so it's a very weird thing, because then we went through the next, you know, half a year trying to kind of hold on to Once in a Fortnight, but it just didn't really work out as much as we really wanted to. Unfortunately, right around the same time, Kevin, he was having his daughter, which, you know, great for him. And at the same time, he was also getting a new job as a producer at a radio station. So it's like he'd be doing sort of the same kind of stuff that he was going to be doing for us, but obviously getting paid for it. And, you know, I can't exactly say, hey, the dreams that you have here, but you can go get paid for it. It's like, I can't exactly tell, like, my best friend in the whole wide world, I can't exactly tell him, well, no, you had a dedication to us, or, you know, something like that. I don't want to be selfish. And so it was very much like, you know, no, go do your thing, you know? And so that was kind of the end, so to speak, of Once in a Fortnight. I tried keeping it going for a while. And when he finally made the decision to, you know, I'm not going to be returning after my break, it was kind of just like, Fortnite's kind of dead for me, you know. And it was one thing because of all the things that happened with Once in a Fortnight, but it was a whole nother thing because it's like, this game is just turning into something else. And it's like, it's not necessarily that I don't like it, it's just that that's not what I originally signed on for. Quite literally, that's not what I paid for, because I paid $40 twice for early access, for me and my wife. So it's just not what I was signing on for. That, and then there was really sour. I'm not going to go into too much details because I'm not the type of person to straight up throw shade at people. I mean, that's why I never said Slade's real name. Call that. Yes. Anyways, so but somebody actually contacted me and said, you know, hey, I'd like to help you out with this. And, you know, he basically said, oh, I have a lot of experience. I had a Destiny podcast back in the day that was really super successful, and I'd like to help you out. And so, like, me being kind of new at everything, I mean, I was still learning stuff. This was back when we would just rip audio straight from like Google Hangouts. And it's like, now we separately do your audio and my audio and the guest's audio, and then we put it all together. And it's like, going back and listening to myself, I'm just like, I was such an idiot, because it's like, it sounds so good now. You know, there's still definitely room to grow and get better, but it's like, we just sound so much better now, a little bit more professional. And so it's like, people can take us a little bit more serious. But getting back to what I was saying, you know, having somebody come and say, hey, you know, I've had 5,000 or 500,000, I can't remember the number, because, you know, he kind of like shot it off every time he had a chance to, basically. But yeah, I've had like 500,000 downloads, and so I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay. And so he even made us a song, Once in a Fortnight. It was like, once in a fortnight, let's go. And everything. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, we had quite literally one disagreement on something that was very little. And it was very much like, I was just trying to, you know, like, oh, hey, just trying to let you know, this one thing that I don't particularly like or something. And, you know, there's a couple of things we can do to try to work with it. And he didn't really like it. And, you know, there was definitely some back and forth that was getting a little heated, but the whole time I was like, like, well, hey, let's just work this out. And he's like, oh no, I'm just gonna go start my own podcast. And I'm like, oh, could you not?
Right.
Could you not? Because it's like, here I have like one of my most successful things I've done. I mean, that was back when we had like 4,000 listeners. And it's like, here's the most successful thing I've done. You've already kind of had success with other stuff. Like, kind of just let me have this, because like, this is my baby, like, so just kind of let me have this. You don't have to come under the guise of helping me and then go off and do your own thing. And it very much felt like he came, like, surveyed the area and then decided to do his own thing. And like, he used our little disagreement as an excuse. Like, oh, well, now that we are not on good terms, now I'm going to leave. Whereas like, I feel like if you would have done a couple of episodes with me and then we would have had a nice discussion about, hey, I'd like to take it this way. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's the direction I want to take it. And then he would have been like, oh, well, if you don't mind, I'd like to go do my own thing. Like, that would have been a whole different thing. And it would have been like, oh yes, I respect you as a person and go ahead and do whatever you want. But him just like up and quitting and just deciding, well, I'm going to go do this now. It kind of felt like that was always his plan. And it felt more like stealing, even though it's not, because there's plenty of other Fortnite podcasts now, but it still felt like stealing because he first tried to help me, but then decided, and it was just like, wow.
Well, I'll tell you from the outside looking in, going to the whole once in a fortnight thing, I think when you finally put the show to rest, I think that was good timing. Especially, and I say that from and marketing's not the right word, but from like logistics and what I understand about analytics as it comes to like content YouTube. When you finally decided to put the show to bed was whenever like the Battle Royale Fortnite got, what it came out in like 2017, like late 2017.
Yeah, very late 2017.
But like at the start of the year, or to the very end of 2017 is when it was really starting to kick off. So it's kind of one of those things that even if you had like a diehard, like good couple thousand listener base, there's a solid chance that as time went on, the show wasn't going to grow because people were wanting to tune into more things that were Battle Royale related.
Exactly.
And that was one of the first things that I like paid attention to and like, in my thoughts and stuff. Thought, a little bit after I had came on and we had talked about once in a fortnight, things like that. So it kind of, maybe not to you, but to me, like that was proper timing.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a mixture of things. It was Kevin deciding not to come back. It was the heartbreak of what happened with that guy. I was just like, okay, well, I want to call it heartbreak because I didn't know the guy, but it was just like the gut punch, I guess is probably a better terminology for it. But the gut punch of him just being like, yeah, and then also just Fortnite not being what I used to enjoy about it. And so it's like all that happened so close together that it was so hard for me to, I guess, fake it. Because it's like I feel like I had been faking it for a while because I tried to give out. Huh?
I was making a joke. Sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to give out like information about Battle Royale, for instance, but I sucked at it. So it's like it's hard to be like, oh, you know what you should do? You should go to Tilted Towers and you should go to this specific building to get this specific gun because that's where you have the highest chance to get. Like, I don't fucking know. Like it was like I felt for me it was extremely disingenuous to even pretend that I knew what I was talking about because I didn't play it enough because I wasn't good enough, and so I didn't feel like it was genuine for me to be like, oh, I know I'm the person you should go to when talking Fortnite. And literally the name of Fortnite is now associated with Fortnite Battle Royale. And so it was just a combination of all those things happen right next to each other that I was just like, I can't keep going with this. And like, there was even a part of me that tried to evolve it into a different show that was a little bit more save the world, but then it was just like it was too late at that point, because then it was like, oh, well, I'd have to do it all by myself. And it's like part of the fun was the dynamic of doing it with my best friend. And so it just didn't feel right. And then, right around that same time is when I met you. Funnily enough, I met you through like a forum. Quick little pause. Quick little pause. Try to remember 2224. But quick little pause. Do we want to say its name?
I mean, I don't see why not. It was Rebreak, right?
Yeah, it was Rebreak, but
I don't see why not. I mean, it's not. Why do you ask?
I don't have that much good to say about it.
Well, I mean, we can set like where are we at right now?
2224 is when we started.
I mean, we can just say that we met on the forum. Someone had made a pay. I mean, just be very general about it. Just say someone tried to make a forum for content creators, and we met on there. I mean, we don't have to go into details about any of that.
Okay. So yeah, me and you met, and we actually met on this forum, which, funny enough, was created by a kind of funny Game Daily person. And so he was basically trying to get a whole bunch of other creators together and collaborate and stuff like that. And so, funnily enough, me and you used that forum for exactly what it was supposed to be used for. We got together. I was pretty much right around that same time. We were still Rocky Mountain Slackers, and I was still trying to keep Rocky Mountain Slackers going while Kevin was gone. So while Kevin was gone, I was basically like, okay, let me get a guest in here, a guest in there. And so I had a couple of different guests on, and like I said, here comes the cheese again. But like me and you, when we first met, it was pretty much just like instant, like we were having a good time. It was really good. You were very knowledgeable, and it's like, even though there's plenty of people out there that like to pretend that they know everything about video games, to really sell it, I feel like it's just not only that, but it was really the kind of back and forth that we had even on that very first episode. So it was like the next day, I think, I was like, hey, do you want to join the team?
Yeah, I remember it was really quick. Like after being on, I think it was after I was on the second episode that I was on.
Oh yeah.
And then you messaged me. I think it was the day after that. And so
wow, I had very good restraint. I wanted to ask you from the very first. I don't even remember the second episode, because like I just remember
I remember us recording an episode, and then I wasn't on the next one. I think that's when you had Hungover on, maybe.
Yes,
and which then I was on after.
Huge shout out to the Hungover gamers, Jewel and Ian. Jewel and I have it down here. Julian and Ivan. The reason for a really big shout out is that they were basically the ones that, like, quote unquote, taught me to do recording the way we're doing it now. Like I said before, we had been doing Google Hangouts or something, and then we would just rip the audio from that,
which is the norm on YouTube. Like a lot of people who podcast,
a lot of people do that. And so it was kind of just like, well, that's how everybody does it, and that's how I know to do it, so that's how I'm doing it. And so what would happen there is that the host, or whoever's the best bandwidth, would sound the greatest, and they would sound crisper, and they would sound a little bit more, there wouldn't be as many echoes or something like that. But then everybody else, depending on their particular connection speed, would either sound robotic or they'd sound echoey. Even if they had like a really good mic that doesn't have echo, they'd sound really echoey and stuff like that. And so Ivan and Julian, the way they do it is they record their audio separately and then they put it together. And it was just like, it was this light bulb moment where it's like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So you've talked enough. Now it's my turn. No. So funny enough, like my backstory is I, like, if you go and ask, they're not there anymore. God knows they're not there anymore. But I remember, my high school had a thing called Fish Camp, and it was for basically it was like for people who were in middle school who were about to come into high school, kind of giving them like, hey, this is what the school is like, they would do
So they're
activities and
using
things like that.
prison metaphors.
Pretty much. You probably no, here's what's worse. My school district, they actually do have implements of that. So like if you're out of dress code, like I don't know if they do it anymore, but if you're out of dress code, you get put in a jumpsuit, like an actual legit prison jumpsuit. And it got worse, like I think when administration changed over, or at least when I went to high school, because like if you were bigger, like I was in high school, then you got like they made the guys wear like tight jumpsuits and the girls wear baggy jumpsuits. So if you were I guess to like, because like girls who would get in trouble for dress code would be wearing something skimpy or wearing something they shouldn't supposed to. So put them in like a baggy one. But if you were bigger, like I was in high school, like almost 300 pounds in high school, 260, 280, anyway, almost 300 pounds. It was just like not very pleasant. It was, you had moose knuckle and things like that. Anyway, it was bad.
Oh God,
it was bad. But so like I had, ever since I discovered YouTube, like when like I discovered YouTube, the very first video I watched on YouTube in order was the I Write Sins Not Tragedies music video by Panic at the Disco, and then Elmo's Got a Gun.
Oh my God, what the hell?
But I remember when YouTube first came out, I was enthralled with it. I loved it. I was like, this is great. And then I have memories of being at fish camp. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade, and I annoyed fucking everyone because like I wouldn't stop talking about YouTube and talking about how like, oh, I'm gonna do this channel, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And they actually like they gave like awards out like to whatever. And I got one, and they called me Nate YouTube Hicks because I wouldn't shut the fuck up about YouTube.
Wow. So
I had always wanted to do stuff, and I finally decided to do it. I think it was like 8th grade or freshman year. And I made a YouTube channel, and it's still up. You can go look at it. It's Nate the Great 95. That was the name that I had. And so I want to go back. I don't know the login details because I really want to go watch the old like liked videos I had. But anyway, all I posted there was just like dumb stuff me and my friend Brennan did. Like just like dumb stuff. And, we had some skits and stuff, like just some really small time stuff. And that was fun. And I remember at the time, like one of the videos got like a good couple hundred views. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's great. And, I hadn't really made a moniker yet. I was just wanting to post content, and that's what I did. So fast forward a couple years later, probably, I think I was like a sophomore or junior, I came up with the moniker Six Sticks, and that's what that's what all my social media is under that username, my gamer tags. So that's the moniker I ran with. So I made a YouTube channel for that. Like I named it that, like that. And so there I posted videos. Like I had a couple midnight release videos, me and my buddy Brandon going to the Black Ops stuff. And it was actually stuff that I edited together and was making videos. And then I had some unboxings, and, I was that time, I think it was like 2013. I was really trying to get more and more into it, but it was one of the things that just fell off because I couldn't find the momentum to do it anymore. Yeah. And so, but for years, that's what I had always wanted to do. And especially working at a radio station, like I was like, this would be great. So before me and you met, me and my buddy Justin, we were out of high school. We had a lot of free time. Let's make a YouTube channel again. Let's actually like get into the nitty gritty. And
let's just jump into it.
Let's just jump into it. So we had my buddy Brandon, he had a moniker. And so basically we just like not took it, but we like made it a group thing. And he was still in the Army at this time. So me and my buddy Justin, we had videos of us playing Outlast. Like that was the first thing we did, was we posted playing drunk Outlast. So anytime we got scared, we'd take a shot of Fireball. And it was great. We recorded for like 2 hours straight. And it was like, oh man, these are really, really funny. And then I ran into an editing error where I couldn't get this like 3rd or 4th video to edit out. And so I just got really tired of it. I didn't get really tired of it. I was like, this isn't working. I don't know what to do. And then at the same time, I was getting in touch like, hey man, do you want to do some podcasts? Like, what do you want to do? And he's like, oh yeah. And like, none of us just kind of got it together. We couldn't come up with something concise. And so that fell flat pretty quickly. And then right after that was whenever Rebreak Radio was created, and I was trying to put out there like, hey guys, like I've made.
Hold on. Did you said the name? Did we want to say the name?
I mean, why not? Like it's
Okay, sure, why not?
It's a shout out, whatever. I'm not saying anything bad. So yeah, we jumped into the forum, and like I was trying to put out there like, hey guys, like I'd really love to start something or join something. Like I've made content before, I've done podcasts before, like I've experience in doing this. And it was kind of to no avail again. And then I was starting to get discouraged. And then you had just contacted me. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be on a podcast. And then, I remember having a lot of fun on that. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then we recorded again. And then that's when I brought up that you had messaged me about joining. And I was like, sure, why not? And then kind of just went from there, and like and hopefully that we'll work on this more in the future. But like, since we've been doing stuff, like it's given me the outlet that I've wanted before.
Yeah.
I still don't think I've hit my potential as far as the content that I'm making, but it's definitely more of a like we've been doing this since almost March. Like it's almost been a year. Like that's the most concise in a setting that content wise I've been. So there's that.
Yeah. And I mean, like your story, because obviously this isn't my first time, it might be for the audience, but this is my first time hearing it. But like your story was definitely what inspired me to like, oh, okay, like me and you are very much alike, because I had plenty of people who I basically tried to join the team and like, hey, let's take this serious. And then they would do it for like a couple of episodes and then they just fizzle out. And I think that's why also it kind of shook me so much when Kevin decided not to come back. It's like the friend side of me was very much like 100%, dude, you take care of your family. This is your third effing kid. Like, go get a job that pays you money, but you also get to do what you love. Like, that was the friend side of me. And then the business side of me was like, what am I gonna do? Right around the same time, I had already met you and we had already started to like go down that road, but it was still like, a big part of Rocky Mountain Slackers was now gone. It was like, oh crap, now what? And so like that's kind of the reason, one of the main catalysts, so to speak, of why I decided that we needed a change. Because actually, funnily enough, we used to be called Idaho Couch Potatoes. And then out of respect that person, I changed the name. I went to Deadly Operative Grunts. And then because we wanted to make a change to a more podcast setting, we changed it from Deadly Operative Grunts to Rocky Mountain Slackers because we were trying to be more marketable. And so then once again, like Kevin ended up not wanting to return. And so in order to facilitate a better transition for you like coming on the team, it's like I felt like we needed to get rid of Rocky Mountain Slackers, because with Rocky Mountain Slackers came the title and the show. And I was always worried that like you were going to feel held back, or you were going to feel like, oh, I have to ask Nick's permission to do this because
it's not even
it's his thing.
It's not even that. And I'll be 100% honest with you. And I don't know if we talked about this before, but like when you asked me to come on and we had already done a couple episodes, I was generating a lot of ideas. I was thinking about stuff, but one of the biggest ones was I was wanting to, because I like, honestly, since we've been doing this, my leg, I don't know the right way to say this, but I've gotten more experience with stuff. Like I haven't done this much I pretty much, if you don't know, except for a couple of them, I pretty much do all the thumbnails and all the editing stuff. And I didn't, I did a little editing. Like since I was a kid, I would always play around in Movie Maker. But like as far as like graphic work, I never really got into it until like we started doing this more and more. So one of the things that I had ideas for stuff like right when you had me come on. But one of them was I did want to start something new, primarily for me. That way I wasn't coming into something that was already like existing. Like basically rebrand. I was wanting to rebrand like shortly after you had me on, just to kind of get a concise thing with me and you, and maybe give it more like market approachability. You know, not that I mean, like, Slackers doesn't have market approachability, but like when you had when we changed the name to ThreadX3 Productions, it's like, oh, that sounds like super official, like that.
Yes. I mean, that was the mindset behind it as far as making the change from Rocky Mountain Slackers, because it very much was, I didn't want you to feel like this was my thing that you're helping me out with. I wanted it to be a collaboration. That was the most important thing, was for this to be a collaboration. So like ThreadX3 Productions, you know, for anybody who doesn't know, is technically what we've been the entire time. It's just that we've been changing names. And so now it's kind of like, well, how about we just go under ThreadX3 Productions, and then no matter what we do under ThreadX3 Productions, we can change the name 8,000 times and it doesn't matter. And then that's kind of where we got Nerd to the Third from, because like our logo, obviously, if you go to our YouTube channel or even our Discord, you'll see it's a square, it's got a T and then a 3, because it's like threat to the power of 3. And so
which I do want to give a shout out to like
Dennis,
for our current logos. I do want to give a shout out to Dennis, because Dennis did really do an incredible job on these logos, and it's stuff that we obviously still use to this day.
Yes, and absolutely, he did an absolutely awesome job, and it's like I love the way it looks now. And so taking that 3 and then going, well, what if we're like, oh, Nerd to the Third, and oh, it rhymes and it's clever, and we could literally just replace the threat, which was in the box, and just replace it with Nerd, and it's already Nerd to the Third.
I remember when you came to me with this, you were so fucking enthusiastic about it, and I remember my reaction being, "Oh yeah, that's cool."
Yeah. It was pretty much, I
don't get super enthusiastic about a lot of things, just because that's my personality. Because like I you know, and I've talked about this before, but I feel like because of like the job that I had, you know, I had to help my parents run a business. Like I feel like my energy, like my childlike innocence, kind of went away for a while. So now I'm just kind of like reserved until like I see something that I'm like, oh my god. But I it's just a funny memory I have of you being like, oh yeah, Nerd to the Third. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. It's cool.
Whatever. Yeah, I guess. But now look at us now.
I'm getting paper. Not yet.
25 episodes in. And yeah, it was also weird because right at the beginning we started bi-weekly, because that was still, I was still doing once in a fortnight. So I
didn't even remember that. Like we've been doing weekly for so long. I completely forgot about that.
Right? It wasn't for that long. I want to say maybe 8 episodes in, maybe. I think so. That might be generous.
Were we bi-weekly when we were still Rocky Mountain, and then we went weekly with Nerd to the Third? I don't really
know, because we were still bi-weekly with Nerd to the Third. I'm pretty sure. It's hard to, because we switched from SoundCloud to Anchor, so it's like we don't even have a very good barometer as far as like when we started doing weekly. But I do remember like making the announcement that, oh yeah, we're switching to weekly. Or maybe it was Rocky Mountains. I don't remember. That's what's so confusing about it. Where was I? To the Third.
Bi-weekly, you were talking about it being bi-weekly.
Yeah, bi-weekly, then we switched to weekly, and yeah. Well, because I want to say we were bi-weekly even when we were doing Hope County Radio, because I didn't want to have too much going on.
It's been
you were about to say it's been long, but it really hasn't. This is really all just this year. That's also what's so crazy. And I mean, hopefully we're gonna look back at this year and it's gonna be like, this was our growing pains year, and then like next year is gonna be so freaking awesome. Like that's the hope. Obviously, I feel like that's anybody creating content, that's anybody's hope. But it's like, it really was like an amazing year as far as just like where we started to where we are now and what we were doing, and you know, the things that we've gone through as far as like me and you, and just how we've grown or whatever. And especially just like our relationship both on and off microphone, I feel like is just really cool. Like I feel like that is one thing that makes it Nerd to the Third, because like the whole shtick of Nerd to the Third was always going to be me and you. We're the main faces of it. We're the personality, and then the third person was always going to be like a rotating third chair. And
which
so,
recently it's been rotating chips and back scratchers. So hopefully we'll get back to that. Back scratcher. Oh, I actually got a Chinese.
goal. That's the
actually it's not Chinese. White elephant. Chinese gift exchange. Yeah, I got a Chinese gift exchange gift. That's a like a barbecue spatula with bottle caps on it and a bottle opener, and it's a back scratcher. It's kind of cool, but also kind of dangerous.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that's the goal, is to make sure that next year we have, you know, and I mean, it might be as simple as we just make sure 2 out of every 4 weeks is somebody else, and then like Coach can be on, and somebody we know can be on, so it's less pressure. And I mean, that's a whole nother thing there, because that was kind of the same thing where we just found Coach. We just like found him, just like, hey, Coach, you just want to come over here, help us out with this thing? He like, oh yeah, I'll come help you. And he was kind of the same way, where it's like I had him on 1, maybe 2 times. It was the same thing where it was just like, you know, I like you. I really like you. I have a good feeling about you. Like, you know, come on the team. Come on the team.
Hey.
Hey, you. But yeah, I mean, like, it was, and I don't know. It's like, it's so weird to think that this was all just 1 year, because it was really just like so much going on, like even just behind the scenes and everything. So it's really crazy. So, I mean, that was 2018 for us. If you had just joined us from Nerd to the Third, you've been with us from Nerd to the Third. It's like that's kind of the ride we've been on for this whole year.
Yep.
Thanks. Thanks. So now, before we leave you to do our dirty deeds, we were going to talk a little bit.
Done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds and the done dirt cheap. That was a great addition to it. Jesus Christ.
So yeah, we're going to talk about our little look ahead, what we hope to do, what we most likely will do,
what our goals and ambitions are for 2019.
Yes, definitely. I mean, like, I would love to say by like 2020 we're going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to be doing a video a day plus like 8 podcasts. It's going to be like a full-time job for us. I mean, like, let's be honest, if we had a choice, like, that would be it. That would be the goal towards into 2020, is be like, oh yeah, we're doing this full time. Like, even if I'm getting shit pay for it, like, that would be the goal, is to be doing this full time. But we're going to be a little bit more realistic, because let's be realistic. We got, 30 people who listen to us on a regular basis. And so I want to look at it in a positive way, in the fact that you 30 people who listen to us on a regular basis. So obviously we're doing something right, because we're retaining you. There's probably plenty of people out there that fluctuate up and down so often that, it's probably like frustrating. It's like, oh, well, did I say something wrong? Whereas you 30 people are very consistent and very much like, all the time we can guarantee we can have this many people. And that's kind of cool. I like that. But obviously you can't really do too much with 30 people. So hopefully this year we're going to do so much more. And part of what we're going to be trying to do, as far as to make more people come check us out, is more video content. And so what we're hoping to do is, we kind of already started thinking about things, which, if you haven't already, like, go check out Thinking About Things. We already have like a good playlist of them. and it's really just me talking or whatever. And but this year we're going to be ramping that up, and so hopefully have at least once a week and different topics and everything. Not only that, but obviously we want to make changes to Nerds the Third so we can always be doing new and interesting things. Are you distracted?
No, I'm not. I mean,
you are, but
I'm doing businessy things. I'm looking around. Yes, no. So I have personal goals, but I also have goals for us, and my personal goals are intertwined with this. So, like, as personal goals, the space that I'm in right now, I want to make more of a studio space. Now, will I do it in the next, until my lease is up? Probably not, because we're not going to be staying in this house. I don't know where we're going to go, but wherever we go, I've always wanted to build a studio space. And we weren't doing video whenever I lived in my old house, but my old house had like a room, like it was a downstairs room that was kind of like a tucked away space that was mine, and I tried to make it kind of my own studio. You probably saw it in like our I did an unboxing video for Far Cry and some other stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I like that, but like I want to make, like, I want to have, like, for example, if I want to put like a green screen back there, I want to do, if we ever do like streaming stuff, I want to make a space where I want to come in and actually work, and actually gets me more focused to do stuff. As far as goals for us, there's some projects that I've been workshopping and like working on that I really want to see come to light. And when they do, I'm going to say when, because I'm going to hold myself to that standard. When they do, I'm hoping it's received as well as I hope, because this, for me personally, is something that would be my pride and joy. Like, I feel like this has so much potential to be something unique and cool for me personally, something that I have thought this much about to actually see finished is something that I want to work towards. But with you, I want to do more video content. I want to basically kind of get into a rhythm of things. 2018, I think, can be summed up for us and like you said, an experimental year. We've tried a lot of different things. Some things worked, some things didn't. And that's kind of the nature of the beast and the kind of nature of finding out who we are. So I want us to find together who we are and run with that. And I think
it's better that we kind of got that shit out of the way, because like it's gonna make it easier. Because it's so easy to get all the experimental stuff out of the way when we do only have like 30 people listening to us. Like, I'm gonna use them as an example just because we're very similar, I guess, but like kind of funny. They were doing experimental stuff, but when they first started, they had like thousands of people listening to them because they had already had that following from IGN, but not only that, but just Kind of Funny in general before they became Kind of Funny Games. So they had already grown a following, and here they are like tripping over themselves and screwing up left and right or whatever, which I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm just saying it happens. That happens when you first start something. And so that's kind of a blessing in disguise, so to speak, that we're getting that out of the way. And so next year being so big and whatnot is hopefully going to be a good thing. Speaking of studio, it's funny you say that, because like I'm literally doing the same thing. I'm going out, and I will live in an apartment complex, so we're going to be getting a garage so that we can get rid of stuff. And I'm going to have a closet, and it's my closet, and there are other closets like it, but this one's mine. And like I even told my wife today, I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to get a folding chair, and then get one of those like butt pillows, so that instead of trying to like roll a fucking chair in there and then also trying to shut the goddamn door or whatever, instead it's just like I get the folding chair out, I fold it, put it down, get it back up, put it away, and then I'm able to close the fucking door. So
and another thing that, as far as experimental stuff, me and you, that's not something we talked about, but we had an idea because we were so passionate about Far Cry. We decided to start a Far Cry podcast. And here's the thing, like a little behind the scenes curtain, that's the most, between me and you, that's the most successful thing that we've done so far.
Yarp.
We had 8 600 to 800 concurrent listeners for the 10 episodes that we had the show. And even when we rebranded to UB Chat, just because of the downfall that we had with Far Cry 5, we still had a heavy listener base. You know, more than we have.
Flow.
It was a heavy flow. That was right. More than we have on Nerd of the Third. But that just showed me that what like people will listen to us, like that worked. And so what I'm hoping to do is take that success and maybe turn it into a different way. And me and you, you know, behind the scenes have talked about some things that we might work on, but that's another thing for me is like, let's play with that. Let's see what works again and what doesn't. But when we find that focus that like, okay, this works, we're going to run with this. I think that will lead to, I don't want to say lead to success, but lead onto the track that we need to be going on.
Yeah.
Man, Far Cry 5, what a game. What a game.
Oh, man. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year, and I hope that everybody who's listened to us and everybody who continues to listen to us, it's really, it's so cliche when somebody with 5 million subscribers or whatever, oh, I do this for you. It's like, do you really? Because you technically do it for money. You want to keep making money, so you do it for them. I mean, you got started because of people, but are you still doing it for people? It's like, no, you're doing it for money. That's, I mean, like when I have 1 million subscribers, that's gonna bite me right in the fucking ass. You can just take the sound bite and be like, ha, you're doing it for the money, dumbass. And I'm like, I have a family. But no, it's super easy to say it right now that we're doing it for you because it is sort of true. Once again, we are doing it so that hopefully we can do it for a full-time job. But anytime we like miss a deadline or anytime, something happens and an episode doesn't make it out or it doesn't make it out in the way we intended, even though we don't have 1 million subscribers or even 1,000 or even 100, it still hurts because it's like those people who do watch us, it's like we're letting those people down and it sucks. I just don't like it. And so I just want you guys to know that we do enjoy doing this specifically because it's like, hey, we do have listeners out there. We're doing something right, and so like, let's just try to give them more and that will, be better in the long run.
Yep.
A really long-winded way to just basically say thank you. Cacao, kapow. Oh, I'm out of ammo.
Reloading's cool, folks. John made that true.
That is. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah, as far as I can tell, yeah. As far as I can tell. I apologize for the rest of the people that are listening to this because this just sounds like probably we're just
well. If you have your headphones in, then it's probably booming. Yeah. So
this is the creepy ASM part of the podcast where everyone tunes into to hear us.
I don't have a beard. Here, hold on. Shh. It's a little bit. It's a scruffy beard. Yeah.
Why do you guys listen to us? Why do you guys tune in? Jesus.
It's for things just like this. People being people, Nate. Maybe you should try it.
Fun fact, I'm not a person. I am not a human being.
Anyways, on that note, so thank you so much for an interesting and very troubled 2018. Please join us for 2019, where we can hopefully give you just 10 times as much with 5 times the effort.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's accurate. That's very much accurate.
All right, so for the last time in 2018, this was Nick.
And I've been Nate.
And you guys have a good day.
Stay classy, Idaho.
San Diego. Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Texas too.
Yeah, Texas,
but only those two. Fuck all the other ones.
Cessation.
Sensational.
I feel like Idaho. Secession in Idaho would be very hard because you're right in the fucking middle. You're not in the middle, but like,
yeah.
There's like with Texas and California, we're so big we can just like, we're on the border, so it's whatever. But no, you're kind of.
Is that Idaho is like one of the last states holding out for weed. We are quite literally surrounded by states who allow weed, whether it be recreational or medicinal. So we're literally surrounded, and people get shit across the border like day in and day out. That is like probably their job, their livelihood is they just get shit across the border, and they just like they got their tunnels and they got their fast cars and they're just going through the tunnels and like Texas family.
Texas has got to get their shit together, man. I'm tired of this fucking skunk ass grass weed.
Get that good kush.
Yeah, Colorado's got that good kush, that's for sure. Rocky Mountain High for a reason, folks.
We were supposed to be ending this. So
yeah, we were. We're talking about weed. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Or if you're an old school MTV, you're welcome.
And wait, hold on. Thanks for listening to Nerd to the Third, where you can always talk nerdy to me.
I was wondering if you were going to do it.
Stop it. Stop it. Just stop all of it. Okay, say project.
Leave it, like cut out my cough, but leave in. I was wondering if you were going to do it and just have that be the
TX3.